Welcome to TrueCrime Unveiled Podcast. Dive deep into the mysteries that captivate us. If you appreciate this episode, please consider liking and subscribing to support us.
And I'm glad you're here with us. Each day, we uncover a real story. Chilling, tragic, and unforgettable. Tonight's case is no exception.
November 24th, 1971. A seemingly ordinary Wednesday. The Pacific Northwest was settling into the quiet of a late autumn evening. But above the clouds, a sinister drama was unfolding. A man calling himself Dan Cooper was about to execute a daring plan. A plan that would baffle investigators for decades.
This is one of those cases that just grabs you, doesn't it? The mystery surrounding D.B. Cooper is legendary.
Absolutely. Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305, a Boeing 727, was en route from Portland, Oregon, to Seattle, Washington, a short flight, scheduled for just under 30 minutes. Among the passengers was a man dressed in a business suit, a dark tie, and sunglasses. He calmly ordered a bourbon and soda. Nothing about him initially screamed danger.
So he blended right in. A classic example of how appearances can be deceiving.
Precisely. Shortly after takeoff, this unassuming man passed a note to a flight attendant. The note claimed he had a bomb. He demanded $200,000 in unmarked $20 bills and 4 parachutes. The flight crew, stunned by the sudden turn of events, immediately contacted the authorities. The plane circled over Puget Sound for nearly 2 hours, while the FBI scrambled to meet his demands.
2 hours. Imagine the tension on that plane, knowing there's a bomb on board.
It's almost unimaginable. After the ransom and parachutes were delivered, Cooper allowed the passengers and some crew members to disembark in Seattle. He then instructed the pilots to take off again, this time heading southeast towards Reno, Nevada. With the plane in the air, the hijacker lowered the rear air stairs, and then, somewhere over the dense forests of Washington state, he vanished.
Just like that? Into thin air?
Seemingly. He jumped into the night, into the unknown, and into the annals of criminal history, leaving behind a trail of questions that continue to haunt us to this day. The mystery of D.B. Cooper had begun. Less than person one greater than the Pacific Northwest, November 1971. Imagine crisp autumn air, the scent of pine and damp earth. Life in small towns like Portland moved at a slower pace. Families gathered for Thanksgiving, sharing stories and laughter. Children played in fallen leaves. Neighbors exchanged warm greetings. The world felt safe, predictable, a far cry from the chaos that was about to unfold. This was a time when air travel still held a sense of wonder, a glamorous adventure. People dressed up for flights. They trusted the system, the pilots, the crew. There was a sense of community in the air, a shared experience of embarking on a journey. It was in this atmosphere of tranquility that a man calling himself Dan Cooper purchased a one-way ticket, setting in motion one of the most baffling mysteries in aviation history.
It's hard to imagine such a disruption to everyday life. It really underscores the contrast between the ordinary and the extraordinary.
Exactly. Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305 was a short hop, a routine flight from Portland to Seattle. Scheduled for a late afternoon departure, it was a convenient connection for business travelers and those heading home for the holiday. Passengers settled into their seats, anticipating a quick, uneventful trip. The plane, a Boeing 727, was a familiar sight in the skies. Its powerful engines promised a smooth, swift journey. Inside, the cabin was a mix of anticipation and quiet conversations. The flight attendants prepared for takeoff, their movements practiced and efficient. There was no indication that this ordinary Wednesday afternoon would soon become anything but.
It's almost surreal to picture these unsuspecting passengers and crew going about their day, completely unaware of what was about to happen.
Absolutely. The flight took off as scheduled, climbing into the darkening sky. Below, the city lights twinkled, a comforting tapestry of human activity. Inside the cabin, the hum of the engines and the gentle murmur of conversations created a sense of normalcy. Passengers read magazines, dozed, or chatted with their neighbors. The flight attendants began their beverage service, moving through the aisles with smiles and polite greetings. In seat 18C, a man in a dark suit, later identified by the alias Dan Cooper, sat quietly, a briefcase resting on his lap. He ordered a bourbon and soda, a seemingly unremarkable detail that would later become part of the legend. This ordinary scene, This snapshot of everyday life was about to be shattered. Less than / person 1 greater than, less than person 1 greater than. The Boeing 727 continued its journey. It sliced through the crisp November air. The passengers settled into their routine. They were unaware of the meticulously planned drama about to unfold. A man calling himself Dan Cooper was seated in row 18. He appeared unremarkable. He wore a dark suit, a thin black tie, and sunglasses. He ordered a bourbon and soda. He chain-smoked cigarettes. He exuded an unsettling calmness. The flight attendants went about their duties. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. It was a typical Tuesday afternoon flight. The destination was Seattle, Washington.
It sounds like an ordinary flight so far. What was the flight's origin?
The flight originated in Portland, Oregon. It was a short hop, scheduled for just over half an hour. The plane leveled off at an altitude of 10,000 feet. It cruised northwards. Outside, the sky was a brilliant, cloudless blue. Inside, the cabin lights hummed softly. Passengers read magazines, dozed, or chatted quietly. The stewardesses began their beverage service. Everything appeared normal. Beneath the surface of this tranquil scene, a storm was brewing. Cooper's calm exterior masked a dangerous plan.
It's eerie how such a mundane setting can become the backdrop for something so extraordinary. It's like a shadow falling over a sunny day.
Precisely. As the flight progressed, Cooper passed a note to Florence Schaffner, one of the stewardesses. She initially dismissed it, assuming it was a lonely businessman's attempt at flirtation. She tucked the note into her pocket. Undeterred, Cooper leaned closer. He whispered, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." These chilling words shattered the illusion of normalcy. The ordinary Tuesday flight was about to become anything but. The shadow had deepened. Less than person 1 greater than, less than person 1 greater than November 24th, 1971. A man calling himself Dan Cooper boarded Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305. The flight was scheduled to travel from Portland, Oregon to Seattle, Washington. He appeared to be in his mid-40s, wearing a dark suit, white shirt, and black tie. Witnesses described him as calm and polite, not raising any immediate suspicion. He ordered a bourbon and soda and lit a cigarette. The flight was a short hop, estimated to be around 30 minutes in the air. It was a typical Wednesday afternoon, and nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Shortly after takeoff, Cooper handed a note to a flight attendant.
So everything seemed normal until that point? Just a regular businessman on a short flight.
Precisely. The note stated that he had a bomb in his briefcase. He demanded $200,000 in unmarked $20 bills and 4 parachutes. The flight attendant relayed the information to the cockpit. The pilot contacted air traffic control and informed them of the situation. The airline and the FBI were notified. Authorities decided to cooperate with Cooper's demands to ensure the safety of the passengers and crew. The plane circled over Seattle for approximately 2 hours while the money and parachutes were gathered.
2 hours? That must have been incredibly tense for everyone on board.
Absolutely. Imagine the fear and uncertainty they must have felt. After the plane landed in Seattle, Cooper released the 36 passengers and some of the crew. He kept 3 flight attendants and the pilot on board. He then relayed his next instructions: a flight to Mexico City, with a refueling stop in Reno, Nevada. The plane took off again, this time heading southeast under the cover of darkness.
So he had the money, the parachutes, and now he was dictating the flight plan.
Exactly. Somewhere between Seattle and Reno, during heavy rain and turbulent conditions, Cooper lowered the aft stairs and jumped out of the plane. He was wearing a civilian jumpsuit provided by the airline, along with the parachute and the money. Despite an extensive manhunt and ongoing investigation, D.B. Cooper was never definitively identified or apprehended. The mystery of his disappearance remains one of the most baffling unsolved crimes in American history. Less than / person 1 greater than, less than person 1 greater than the plane landed. Authorities surrounded it. The rear stairs were still deployed. The wind whipped against the tarmac, carrying a chilling silence. Cooper was gone. Inside, the passengers and crew were shaken but alive. They recounted their ordeal to the FBI. They described a calm, collected man, polite but firm. He never removed his sunglasses. His parachute remained on the cabin floor, a stark reminder of his daring escape. The Boeing 727-100 became a crime scene. Every inch was scrutinized. The search for D.B. Cooper had begun.
It's incredible to think he just vanished into thin air. Like a ghost story, almost.
The FBI launched a massive manhunt. Hundreds of agents were deployed across the Pacific Northwest. They scoured the dense forests and rugged terrain. The search extended from the suspected jump zone to nearby towns. Roadblocks were set up. Rivers and lakes were searched. Divers explored the murky depths. The $200,000 ransom was meticulously traced. Serial numbers were recorded and circulated. Banks were alerted. The nation watched, gripped by the unfolding drama.
A nationwide manhunt. It must have been the biggest story at the time.
Fear began to grip the nation. The idea of a man hijacking a plane, extorting money, and then vanishing was unsettling. It highlighted the vulnerability of air travel. Airlines implemented new security measures. Passenger screening became more stringent. Metal detectors were installed. The D.B. Cooper case exposed a flaw in the system. It forced a reassessment of aviation security protocols. The incident became a turning point in the history of air travel.
It's hard to fathom the level of fear this must have instilled in people who traveled by air.
The mystery deepened as days turned into weeks. The search yielded few clues. The FBI followed hundreds of leads. They investigated potential suspects. They interviewed witnesses, analyzed evidence, and chased down every tip. But D.B. Cooper remained elusive. The case became a media sensation. Newspapers ran daily updates. Television broadcasts captivated audiences. The public was fascinated by the audacity of the crime. The mystery of D.B. Cooper became ingrained in American folklore.
A true enigma. It's no wonder this case continues to fascinate people to this day.
Let's delve deeper into the enigma of D.B. Cooper. We've established his outward calmness. He was polite, even offering to pay for his drinks. He seemed familiar with flight procedures. Yet beneath this veneer of composure lay a calculated risk-taker. He jumped from a Boeing 727 at 10,000 feet into a stormy night. This act suggests a complex psychological profile. It speaks to a man who was either incredibly desperate or incredibly confident, perhaps a blend of both. What drove him to this extreme measure? Was it purely financial gain, or was there a deeper psychological motivation at play?
It's a fascinating contradiction. He's calm enough to order bourbon, yet reckless enough to parachute into the wilderness. It's hard to reconcile those two extremes.
Exactly. That's the heart of the mystery. We have to consider the possibility that D.B. Cooper wasn't his true identity. He might have been living a double life. Perhaps he was a disgruntled employee, an ex-military paratrooper, or someone with a hidden past. The ransom demand of $200,000, while substantial, wasn't an astronomical sum. This raises questions. Was the money the primary objective, or was the hijacking a symbolic act? Was it a cry for attention, a desperate attempt to reclaim control?
The amount of the ransom does seem strangely specific, almost like it had a particular purpose.
Precisely. That detail has puzzled investigators for decades. Some theorists believe the hijacking was a carefully orchestrated act of rebellion against authority. Others suspect a more personal motive, perhaps a gambling debt, a failing business, or a strained relationship. We may never know the full truth, but by piecing together these fragments of information, we can begin to understand the complex psychological landscape of the man who called himself D.B. Cooper.
It's like trying to assemble a jigsaw puzzle with half the pieces missing, and the ones you do have don't quite seem to fit.
A fitting analogy. The lack of concrete evidence has allowed speculation to flourish. Some believe he perished in the jump. Others think he survived and lived out his days in anonymity. The FBI's official position is that he likely did not survive. The terrain was treacherous, and the conditions were brutal. However, the absence of a body has fueled the enduring mystery. This has allowed the legend of D.B. Cooper to grow. He became a folk hero to some, a symbol of daring and defiance.
It's amazing how this case continues to capture the imagination, even after all these years. The mystery of D.B. Cooper endures.
Investigators meticulously pieced together the known facts. They established a timeline of Cooper's movements. They analyzed the ransom notes and the parachutes. They interviewed every passenger and crew member. The FBI launched one of the largest investigations in its history. Agents pursued hundreds of leads across the country. They chased down every tip, no matter how improbable. The case quickly became a media sensation. The public was captivated by the audacity of the crime.
It's incredible how quickly this became a national obsession. It seemed everyone had a theory about D.B. Cooper.
Indeed. Some leads initially seemed promising, only to turn into dead ends. A few months after the hijacking, a boy discovered a bundle of cash buried near the Columbia River. The serial numbers matched the ransom money. This sparked renewed hope of finding Cooper. However, it only deepened the mystery. How did the money get there? Was Cooper still alive? Or had someone else stumbled upon it? The questions remained unanswered.
A tantalizing clue, but ultimately another piece of the puzzle that didn't quite fit.
Exactly. Adding to the intrigue were several communications purportedly from Cooper. These messages, often cryptic and taunting, arrived at newspapers and the FBI. Most were deemed hoaxes by investigators. They lacked credible evidence linking them to the hijacker. Yet, they fueled public speculation and further complicated the investigation. Each message was scrutinized for clues, but none provided a definitive breakthrough. The mystery of D.B. Cooper continued to grow.
It's like he was playing a game with the authorities, even after disappearing.
That's a very apt description. The false leads, the taunting messages, the partial ransom recovery, all contributed to the growing legend. The case became a source of endless fascination. It transformed from a simple hijacking into an enduring enigma. The FBI dedicated enormous resources to the investigation. They conducted countless interviews and followed thousands of leads. Yet, D.B. Cooper remained elusive.
So despite the massive manhunt, they were essentially back to square one?
In many ways, yes. The investigation continued for years, but the trail grew colder. The lack of concrete evidence frustrated investigators. The mystery surrounding D.B. Cooper deepened. The public's fascination with the case never waned. Theories continued to circulate. Books and documentaries explored every angle. The search for D.B. Cooper became an obsession for many. Less than person one greater than. The D.B. Cooper case didn't just vanish with the hijacker. It left an enduring mark on those involved. The passengers and crew aboard Flight 305 experienced a terror that stayed with them. Imagine the fear, the uncertainty, the sheer helplessness in that confined space. Many reported lingering anxiety, nightmares, and a profound distrust of air travel afterward. Their lives were irrevocably altered by this single event. The emotional scars ran deep, a testament to the trauma they endured.
It's truly heartbreaking to consider the psychological impact on these innocent people.
Absolutely. Beyond the immediate victims, the families of those on board also suffered immense anguish. The hours of uncertainty while the hijacking unfolded must have been agonizing. Even after the passengers were released, the fear didn't simply disappear. The knowledge that someone could so easily disrupt lives and instill such terror created a lasting sense of vulnerability. The hijacking became a shared trauma, binding these families together in a way they never anticipated.
It's a ripple effect of fear and anxiety.
Precisely. And the impact extended beyond the immediate families. The entire community felt the unsettling aftershocks. The Northwest region, particularly, experienced a heightened sense of unease. The knowledge that D.B. Cooper had likely landed somewhere in their midst, potentially still at large, created a climate of suspicion and paranoia. The case became a constant reminder of their vulnerability. It cast a long shadow over the region, a chilling testament to the enduring power of unsolved mysteries.
It's almost like a ghost story that continues to haunt the community.
A very apt comparison. The mystery surrounding D.B. Cooper transformed him into a near-mythical figure. He became a subject of fascination, speculation, and even morbid admiration. This only added to the unease. The ambiguity of his fate, the lack of definitive answers, allowed the story to fester in the public consciousness. It became a source of both fear and intrigue, a constant reminder of the fragility of safety and the enduring power of the unknown. The case serves as a stark illustration of how a single criminal act can have profound and far-reaching consequences.
A chilling reminder indeed.
The FBI chased phantom leads for years. They investigated over 800 suspects. None panned out. The case grew cold, yet the mystery persisted. Then, in 1980, A young boy on vacation with his family made a startling discovery. Playing along the Columbia River's banks, he unearthed a bundle of decaying $20 bills. The serial numbers matched the ransom money. This reignited the investigation, shifting focus to the river's flow and potential drop zones.
A remarkable discovery after all those years. Imagine the boy's surprise. It's like something out of a movie.
Indeed. The discovery of the money fueled new theories. Some speculated Cooper didn't survive the jump. Others believed he landed safely and stashed the remaining cash. Investigators meticulously examined the recovered bills. They analyzed the soil and debris clinging to them. This provided clues about the possible landing site. But Cooper himself remained elusive.
So, the money resurfaced, but the hijacker didn't. It's a truly baffling situation.
Exactly. Despite the renewed efforts, the case remained unsolved. Years turned into decades. The FBI officially suspended active investigation in 2016. They stated they would review any credible physical evidence related to the parachutes or the remaining ransom money. However, the primary focus shifted to resolving other priority cases.
So after all that time and effort, they essentially admitted defeat? That must have been frustrating for everyone involved.
Absolutely. The D.B. Cooper case became a legend. It spawned countless books, articles, and documentaries. Amateur sleuths continue to investigate, hoping to crack the code. Numerous suspects have been proposed over the years, each with varying degrees of credibility. Yet, none definitively identified as D.B. Cooper.
It's fascinating how a single unsolved crime can capture the public's imagination for so long. What is it about this case that keeps people so intrigued?
Perhaps it's the audacity of the crime, the sheer improbability of someone successfully hijacking a plane and disappearing without a trace. Maybe it's the allure of the unknown, the unanswered questions that continue to haunt us. Whatever the reason, the mystery of D.B. Cooper endures. Person 1 greater than. Person 1 greater than. We've meticulously dissected the D.B. Cooper case. We've explored the known facts, the theories, the suspects. We've examined the evidence. From the tie clip to the recovered money, we've considered the context of the era, the audacity of the crime, and the enduring mystery surrounding Cooper's identity. Yet, we're left with more questions than answers. The case remains a cold case, a testament to a cunning plan executed flawlessly.
It's almost unbelievable that someone could just vanish into thin air like that. After all these years, the mystery persists. It's fascinating and frustrating at the same time.
Precisely. D.B. Cooper represents the enigma of evil hidden in plain sight. He boarded that plane as an ordinary passenger. He blended in seamlessly with the other travelers. He then revealed his true nature, unleashing a calculated scheme that defied authorities. He manipulated the system and disappeared without a trace. He became a ghost story, a legend whispered in the annals of criminal history.
It makes you wonder how many other D.B. Coopers are out there, living seemingly ordinary lives, hiding their secrets in plain view.
That's the chilling reality. The D.B. Cooper case forces us to confront the uncomfortable truth. Evil doesn't always announce itself with grand pronouncements. Sometimes, it lurks in the shadows, disguised in the normalcy of everyday life. It waits for the opportune moment to strike, leaving us to grapple with its aftermath. The mystery of D.B. Cooper serves as a stark reminder.
A reminder of what exactly?
A reminder that we may never truly know the depths of human nature, that appearances can be deceiving, that some mysteries may never be solved. D.B. Cooper challenged our perception of security, our understanding of criminal behavior, and our ability to bring criminals to justice. He vanished into the night, leaving behind a legacy of unanswered questions and a chilling reminder of the unknown.
So the question remains, who was D.B. Cooper?
And perhaps an even more unsettling question is, could he be anyone? Thank you for joining us on True Crime Unveiled. If you appreciated this episode, please consider liking and subscribing to support us. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay curious, and stay safe. Person 1 greater than. Person 1 greater than. Thank you for walking with us through the shadows. The story doesn't end here. It lingers, echoing through time, reminding us that the darkest truths often hide in plain sight. Until next time, stay curious and stay vigilant.
Stay safe and keep questioning everything.